Drama, controversy, and the absolute fumbling of an update. We all have feelings right now, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Let's talk about the update that happened today, right? It was all those three things combined into one. At some points, I didn't know if I was like irate or just really like thought it was just super funny. But there's some important information, right? We need to know how to navigate this, and I'm hoping you guys can just throw this video on and it explains everything in detail so that way you can make the best decisions for your account going forward. So the first thing that I want to talk into, which would have been before this, would have been the hot topic issue of Galaxy of Heroes, is Coliseum, and essentially what is happening with our with this, where we're going with Coliseum, essentially, right? With this whole era system. So the big thing that was being asked is, hey, that's great. We established that we're going to get every single character to level 65 completely for free, which is equivalent to a gear 12. In order for us to, just by playing the event. That's pretty cool, right? And I think we've all kind of now understood that that is the whole system. They gave out now the Maul requirements. And again, I know this isn't the hot topic issue, but I just want to get this over with. And we'll add reactions there at the end. So be sure to stick around for that. But it basically breaks it down, right? By tiers. So even if you haven't been upgrading your characters star-wise, you could probably get to, 4-star, whatever, for the Maul event. Now, what we've been maybe, I won't say misled, but there's been a lot of questions around, hey, but what do we need for maybe some of those later tiers? Will there be any tiers where we have to be above level 65? And the answer to that is yes. They are saying that you need to have characters at level 70, level 85. But I want to just pump the brakes really quick because, again, we haven't played this event. Right now, I am a little bit ahead of schedule on this account that I have put some resources into. The first day, I think I told you guys, I got my Luke up to like level 15. Just through a few of those crystal packs that they have. My other account that I've been kind of like playing and trying to just, stay strict to their system and see where we end up at is, it's not behind, but it is right there with it. I don't know if I missed a day or something like that, but yeah, that's where we're at. So the answer to the question of, will we need someone above level 65? The answer is yes. Now, again, we don't know. We've heard what they've said. We don't know if what that is like in the long scheme, right? We don't know. We have to play this thing out. Maybe by the end we get more materials. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but I know I'm probably being an optimist here. But this is what we're seeing right now. We have to have up to 85 to fully unlock at 7 stars. So I want to get that out of the way. We hadn't known about that, so there you guys go. Now, let's get to the controversial part. If you had logged in at some point today, what you would have seen is every single Datacron from Pillars of War had been reduced down to level 5 with no explanation, and you would have gotten an inbox of just a bunch of materials that, like a bunch of data cache, a bunch of the, the Mark II and the Mark III ability mats, or not ability mats, but the upgrade materials. And there was no real explanation, nothing. There hadn't been any posts that had been talking about this or anything like that. So it was a big deal. And so again, if you've been working or, you weren't really paying attention to Discord, you're not on Discord, people were kind of panicking, and for good reason. I want to say that again, we all have feelings. And yeah, they were valid. So everything was at level 5 for this. So then the patch notes came out, and again, we're not going to read the patch notes, but just know that, hey, yes, we got the 5,000 era currency. Awesome, thank you for that. But the big reason why everything got reduced back down to level 5 was they fixed an issue that was causing too much bonus damage to be applied when abilities were using with an AoE attack, and the bonus for attackers and Datacron from set 25 Pillars of War. So like when they use a special ability, they're going to deal 25% more damage for each buff on the target enemy. So basically, yeah, they were dealing too much damage throughout. So they reverse that back down to 5%, which is then later on their post. But again, one of the things that we had been, really upset with was that they did not explain to us what was wrong, and why then is my support cron, which has nothing to do with being an attacker cron, going all the way down to level 5? Why is my tank cron that I've built up for 5s all of a sudden going back down to level 5? And then they also mess up the calculation of how many rerolls did you do, because we didn't get any reroll mats. How many, and I think from the beer math that I can do, I think that they weren't even giving us the 1-for-1, like, hey, this is the upgrade that you did. Say it took 200, Mark II abilities or Mark II materials for me to upgrade to like whatever level. They would have only given me like the dusting amount, right? So whenever our sets dust and there's a certain percentage that just kind of comes back to us, and then a certain percentage is kind of gone forever. That's what they were giving us, I think. I could be wrong in that part, but I think that's what was happening. So then after the chaos that ensued, we then have gotten a clarifying post. So again, I'm not going to read this word for word. You guys can go check it out yourselves if that's what you guys want to do. I'm just trying to give you guys what we need to go from here, and how we go from, just how do we navigate this next 24 hours essentially. So they're working on a bug fix essentially, or not a bug fix, but they are working on redacting our Datacrons back to what they were. So according to my account, they're already there. I don't know. I haven't checked the others, and I haven't kind of been on Discord recently, but I think everyone's maybe have returned back to what they were before this update. So you shouldn't see any more level 5s or like just a full screen of level 5s. It should be what you had upgraded before. That being said, one of the things they've already implemented, from what I've been told, they've already been implemented the 5% instead of the 25%. So your attacker crons are not going to do as much damage, right? So if you go into GAC right now, you're not going to do the same stuff that you were doing beforehand. In my opinion, it's still the most broken Datacron that you still can do. So I think in the future, like when we do get these reroll materials and stuff in the future, go ahead and still reroll for attacker, pending your team, obviously. But I think for the most part, your attacker cron is still the strongest one. But with that being said, it's not going to be what it used to be, right? I think we're going to see a noticeable drop in Rey. I think we're going to see a noticeable drop in some of the, Lord Vader comps, because Appa was doing like kind of crazy amounts of stuff. So just be aware of that stuff, right, guys? I just want to make you guys be aware of that. So what they're also going to do, so you're going to revert back to your Datacrons as they were basically this morning or whatever it was before the update. Then they're going to give you, I think it was one extra Datacron or something like that. And they are reducing your cost to upgrade by 90%, right? So in this instance, they say like to upgrade from 2 to 3, it takes, 30,000 data cache instead of the 300,000 data cache. So you're going to have a ton of data cache coming in. You also are going to be receiving 20,000 of the Mark 1, 20,000 of the Mark II, and 20,000 of the Mark III reroll materials. And the reroll cost is now going to be reduced down to 1 data cache, which is crazy again, because those used to kind of increase with time. So you are going to be able to reroll. You're going to be able to put stats on. So basically all of us for the next like 3 months while this set is active should have 30 level 9s that should have really solid stats on them, right? Like high protection, if that's what you were going for, or high, potency, if that's what you're going for, or whatever the case is, right? One of those things that should be absolutely like that you should have what essentially the guys in Maw and Ka and all those guys that are up there in GP and in the, the Gauntlet guilds, you're going to have that stuff. That also means that your opponents are going to have that stuff too. So it's a little bit of give and take here, right? So yeah, because they're going to be rolling back the inventories, like they even make this mention, but I just want to say it right now, like it's not live right now. So if I go in and try to re-roll this right now, it's still 100,000 of my data cache. So don't do it yet, right? Wait for this update so that way you can have your unlimited rolls and everything like that. So that's what happened today. It was met with huge backlash, and I totally get it. I was right there with you guys. The way I deal with things is joking around. I went around into the Discord and blamed free-to-play players, which is an inside joke in and of itself. I'll maybe need to take some time and explain to people why I've done that in the past. Those have been around long enough, kind of know me and know what that's about. But anyways, my basic reaction, I want to just really quickly sum up my reaction on this whole thing. This was absolutely, to me, this update was the worst update I think I've ever seen in my, I don't even know, 8-9 years, whatever it's been playing this game. It was horrible. It was horribly rolled out. There was zero communication. It was frustrating. We had no idea for the longest time. We were getting, I want to give them credit. Like they were giving us updates, but the updates were really bad at first. They were like, we don't know if we can roll back, the game to that point or all these other things. I want to like commend their open communication. It just was horrible to read that in real time, right? It's almost like someone just keep giving you bad news after bad news. Like, I don't know. I don't even want to make an analogy because it's probably just going to go somewhere super dark, but widespread, worst update that they've ever done. I had individually, I had like a time where they like deleted my mods or duplicated my mods. That dealing with that was probably worse for me personally, but I understand that not everyone went through that. Everyone was going through this. In some respect, that was better just because in that other, instance, I felt so alone kind of thing. And in this one, it was just like, well, I can at least hop on to Discord and just kind of joke around and everyone else is going through it kind of thing. And what happens to one of us is going to happen to the rest of us. In that scenario, what happened to everyone else was not what happened to me. And I was given a make right up for it, but I really wasn't at the same time. But so, yeah, that's my reaction to it. I don't love the Maul thing right now, but again, I'm going to remain super open-minded until this whole event plays out, and then I'm going to give my feedback in afterwards. So yeah, that's how I felt. Guys, make sure you guys tell me how you guys felt in the comment section down below or in the Discord or whatever. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. Hopefully this gives you guys a good indication of what you guys should be doing. Do not upgrade or your DCs yet. I know it's going to be tough. Wait for that cost to go down. Don't upgrade or, don't re-roll. Wait for that cost to go down. All that good stuff. You will eventually get 30 of these Datacrons and your opponents will too. So that was the big news for today. Let me know what you guys thought, and we'll see you guys in the next one.